Hey guys, welcome back to Infidelity Stories. Make sure like and subscribe to the channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into story video.
Wife cheated with coworkers who live 6 doors down from us. So my wife and this guy have been co-workers and friends for over a year now. They mostly work together but sometimes talk via text/Snapchat. He is 26 and she is 33, I'm 37. He lives in his parents' basement and has a part-time job at the company and no real financial future. He is also not very attractive and doesn't seem like my wife's type. Anyway, her boss at work had a birthday on Saturday and I dropped her off at the bar where a bunch of other employees were going to celebrate. I fell asleep on the couch at around 1 a.m. and woke up at 6 a.m. the following day. I'm not sure why, but I had a bad feeling about her not coming home before I was awake, so I looked through her phone and found Snapchats that made my heart sink. She messaged him at 2:30 a.m. and said he's asleep. Him, tonight or another night? Her, tonight. Him, condoms? Her, I don't have any. Him, I'll grab some and meet up there in 10 minutes. After I found the texts, I took some photos and woke her up and confronted her. She came clean, admitting to it all after I showed her the photos, and said that they didn't have sex because he was too drunk to get hard, but they fooled around and planned/tried to. She claims this is the first time they ever got physical, but I am not sure I believe it, since from the text they had clearly discussed it, as they both knew what they were talking about. I am now trying to decide if I want to divorce or reconcile. I had an initial consultation with a lawyer today. We own a house together that neither of us can afford on our own and have 2 kids ages 6 and 4. I'm looking for advice or support from this community. Do you think I can keep this relationship alive? She has agreed to go zero contact, give me full access to her phone and enter counseling. She keeps on asking me what I want to do, but I don't want to do either: live in a relationship with no trust or break up my family and sell the house. But I know I need to pick one. Edit. I also told her that she needs to inform her parents, or I would, and she called them both immediately after. I'm not sure why I did this. I guess I want her to own it, and I want her parents, who I both respect very much, to know why I will be divorcing her if I choose that path. Update. So I'm relatively new to Reddit and have never made a post before this one, so I'm not sure if this is the proper way or not to update, but here goes. I read most of the comments here and thank you for your advice. I met with a lawyer yesterday and took home the client intake form, which I filled out in front of her shortly after. I have my first consultation with the lawyer in 2 weeks, as that was their earliest appointment. She has been very remorseful and has done everything I have asked of her so far. She also said she wants to prove to me that this was a one-time mistake but didn't know how. Then I saw that some people suggested a lie detector test, so I brought that up to her. She agreed to taking it and asked to do it sooner than later, so I called today on my lunch break and scheduled one for Friday. The questions will basically cover what happened the night in question, whether they have ever done anything previously to that, and whether or not there has been any other partners during our marriage. If she fails any questions on the test, I will not attempt reconciliation, and even if she passes them all, I still may not. This is all too fresh and my emotions are too high to make any decisions at this point in time. The only decisions I've made are things she must do for me to even consider reconciliation. In terms of the AP, they work for the same company but do not work at the same store and have no day-to-day interactions at work. I am not making excuses for her and am not trying to diminish the disrespect she has given myself or my family. Does anyone have any experience with lie detectors? I'm assuming I can't be the only person here who has had a spouse take one. Also, I do not wish to talk to her HR and make her lose her job. If she has no wage if we divorce, I do not want to have to pay support. Our incomes are slightly similar, with mine being higher. And if some way in hell we do try to work it out, I will also need her financial help to maintain the household. Story 2. I discovered some more info after my wife's timeline of her affair with her coworker. Hi, everyone. First off, thanks to everyone who reached out and provided advice or support. Everything is appreciated. Here's an update. Since my read her timeline, there hasn't been a moment. It hasn't been heavily weighing on me, and I still haven't slept well. I've read the timeline at least once every day, and with every reread I experience a variety of emotions: sadness, hurt, anger, and embarrassment. Sometimes I can't even form how I'm feeling into words. I don't think that she was lying/doctoring it up. Everything does match with what OBS showed me. I think the timeline was impactful for her. The affair is the affair, but I do believe that AP preyed on her. I'm angry I was unaware of it, and didn't protect her. When we were 17, there was this bad incident with her mom, and she came over to my house, and I held her in my arms and I promised I would always protect her no matter what. And I feel like I failed with AP. I didn't see his motives. I only took her word. On Friday night, I texted OBS to see if we could talk. I wanted her input, and to see how her/the twins were doing. She called. She had just put her kids to bed, and said how rough it's been on the kids, and that she's just been trying to focus on them. She said that it's going to be a bitter divorce. AP's acting like the wronged party and puffed up with himself. He hasn't apologized or anything. He's living at an extended stay. She changed the locks, so he couldn't come and go. I asked about AP's history, past cheating/abuse of power. She knew where I was getting at. She suspicions of past infidelities over the years, that a woman always knew, but she never had proof he couldn't deny. She believes he grew overconfident/sloppy with my WW. There was one allegation 5 years ago at AP's previous job. A coworker reported him to HR for retaliating against her after she refused an advance, but nothing came of it. She was viewed as a difficult employee who was frequently late and dismissed as bitter after AP wrote her up. OBS, she ignored the warning signs because she was pregnant. There wasn't another allegation and he had a great reputation. The info took me a minute to process. I did ask if AP gave her a timeline. She said she didn't care for one because she just wants a divorce. She asked if I had made a decision yet with my WW, and I told her that I hadn't. She suggested her attorney when I was ready or just for a consultation. I took the info, and thanked her. We talked for a little bit about life post D-Day, before hanging up. I felt more anger toward AP. I do believe he set his sights on WW, but she still had an EA which only grew, and I just feel so deeply hurt, lost, and betrayed. I really hate all of this. Yesterday, I still couldn't get what OBS said off my mind. My SIL called me, and the tone of her voice was troubling. She was worried about my WW, that she didn't believe she was doing well, and had not been eating. She asked if I had talked to her at all, but I hadn't since Thursday. So far, my WW has been respecting me, asking for some space. This did not please me to hear in the slightest. I hated the idea of my WW being in this way, and every day with NC or not seeing her has been extremely hard for me. She asked if I could try talking with her, but she didn't have to because I had already decided on going to see her. On the way over, I stopped at this local restaurant my WW loves, and ordered her usual meal to go, and then I went straight to our home without prior warning. Admittedly, a part of me wondered if I might find AP there this time around, but again, his car wasn't around. I entered the house, and my WW was lying on the couch. The TV was on, but she wasn't watching it. She looked like she was going through hell. Conflicting emotions hit me. 1. Some choices of hers brought this on, and 2, I wanted to comfort her, and promise her that everything would be okay. She sat up, surprised to see me. She moved to get up, I assume, to hug me, but she stopped herself. I showed her the food, and told her that I needed her to eat something. This caught her off guard and she said that I didn't have to do this, but I said I wanted to. I helped her get settled at the table, got her something to drink, and she started eating her meal. I asked if she heard from AP or if he's been to the house, and she said no. I asked if I could see her phone. Without any hesitation, she handed it over to me. While she ate, I spent some time searching her phone. There weren't any new convos with AP, and his number was still blocked. I waited until she was finished eating before I set anything up that could distract her. I mentioned that her sister had called, and this threw her off. She promised that she didn't ask her to do that and she's been trying to respect my space request, but I said that it was okay, and that I wasn't bothered by the call. She said I shouldn't have to rush home to take care of her, but I said our vows say otherwise, and they still matter to me. She starts tearing up, and says that she ruined us, that she ruined me, and me/our relationship was the very best part of her life, and meant everything to her. She said that she's angry with herself, disappointed in herself, that I only ever loved and trusted her, but she hurt and betrayed me in the way that would tear me apart the most, and she'll never forgive herself. At this point, I don't know what happened, but her words had hit me deeply, and I just broke down. She kept saying that she didn't deserve me, and she just kept tearing herself to shreds. The last thing she said was that I must regret being with her. For the first time since D-Day, I cut in and said that my whole life has been wrecked, but she knew that I don't regret her. I listed how many times she saved me, and that I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. I reminded her about the day we first met at the neighborhood playground when we were 5, or how at 13 when I admitted my feelings for her, and the entire time I was nervously stumbling over my words, and she held my hand to reassure me. Even then I knew I wanted to be by her side. How, when I proposed and she said yes, I was beyond excited for us to start our lives together in that way. I never wanted to part from her, that she was it for me, and that never once changed before D-Day. We just cried without saying another word. I tried to gather myself, then told her that I needed to go. As I was leaving, she thanked me for coming over, then said that she understands my need for space, and she'll accept whatever consequences come her way, but that she's not giving up on us, and that she's going to start looking into IC. I only nodded. I have my first IC scheduled for Monday. But I feel like I'm nowhere closer to knowing how to proceed, nor do I feel any less lost. Every emotion you could possibly imagine is just wrecking me, and I feel like I'm trapped in a maze. I would appreciate any advice.